Hi everyone. Let's wait a couple of more minutes because there are missing presenters yet. I see Li Yang is here and Yindao Zheng also, and there is a third presenter, but I am not able to read the name. Could you please tell me which is your presentation and what is your name?
Hello, my name is Indo Zhang, and I will be the third one, and my topic is new balance of the coronavirus.
Okay, in now I can read your name actually, but there is another one that I can't read. Apart from you and Li Yang, there is a third one. I don't know who he is and what is the presentation name. One more minute and...
Mudan 老师 Mudan, the last one.
The last one is Dan. Is it Dan Mu?
Yes, yes, Professor. I am the last one, and my title of research is Cultivation of Empathy in Cross-Cultural Communication for Foreign Language Students.
Okay, thank you very much. I get it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, the first... I think we can start because the first presenter is already here and we have limited time. So welcome everyone to 7th International Student Congress organized by Manisa Celal Bayar University. And my name is Fatih Çiçek and I will be moderating this session. It's going to take place between 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. We have 2 hours and normally 6 presenters. So I planned 20 minutes for each, but there are missing presenters. So I think we can use some extra time if you need. First, Li Yang will present his paper and he will be talking about what Palas means in different cultural contexts, giving us examples from Chinese, Russian, and English context. Li Yang, do you have any slideshow to show us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting you to Spotlight so you can share your presentation.
Everybody can see my presentation, right?
Yes, we can see your presentation. If you are ready, you are good to go.
Okay. Okay, first of all, I have to apologize for us because my speech will only be in Russian.
Sorry, before you start, we are having a little bit trouble getting your voice. Maybe you can speak a little bit louder if it's possible.
Okay, okay. My speech will only in Russian. I'm so sorry, okay, I will start. Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги. Тема моего выступления будет особенности описания фрейм творец в китайском, английском и русском языке. И меня зовут Лиян из Китая, университет, коммерческий институт Нанго при Кондонском университете иностранных языков и торговли. Статья посвящена проблеме исследования описания фрейма творец в китайском, английском и русском языке. Актуальности исследования основаны на повышении внимания ученых к вопросам межязыкового воздействия, а также необходимостью исследования структуры, описания и лексико-грамматического наполнения туристических объектов, в частности, содержащих описание фрейма творец. Актуальности в настоящее время повышается интерес к исследованию особенностей межязыкового воздействия, в результате чего достаточно актуальной считается исследование проблемы описания туристических объектов. Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. If you are able, can you give your presentation in English? But if you are not going to feel comfortable, you can persuade with Russian, I believe.
My presentation have the English. Can you see it?
Yeah. We can see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is Google Translate. It's not so good, but I think you will understand it.
Okay.
Sorry, only in Russian speech. Can I continue? Continue, right? Актуальности сопоставительного исследования туристических объектов в целом Sorry, can you hear me or not?
Yes, we can, Liang. Please continue. We can hear you.
Okay. So, sorry about this. I will continue my presentation. Актуальности сопоставительного исследования туристических объектов в целом, описание you can hear me, but you can see me, right?
We can all see you and we can hear you. Please continue with your presentation. Everything looks okay.
Okay. В частности, также обусловлено развитием профессиональной коммуникации, актуализации профессионального международного общения, то есть развитием языковедческой и филологической науки. Выбрав проблему исследования особенностей описания фрейм-творец на китайском, английском и русском языках обусловлен тем, что такие тексты не подразумевают использование только конкретных речевых клише и формул, а также отличаются специфическим грамматическим и лексическим содержанием. Однако, прежде чем перейти к сопоставительному исследованию, требует более подробно рассмотреть подходы к определению термина фрейм. В гуманитарных науках большое распространение получило понятие фрейм. А что такое фрейм? Фрейм формирует структуры, а также в целом широкий круг понятий, связанных со структурированием верности. А фреймовая методика представления знания, как известно, зародилась в недрах компьютерной лингвистики. В 80-е годы 20 века было введено в научный оборот понятие фрейм ученым из США в Минске. То есть, как мы видим, фрейм — это структурное оформление единицы какого-то конкретного знания. Картинки, сценарии, схемы и так подобное, с помощью которых может быть идентифицирован это Минский фрейм. Ученый полагал, что в основе фреймов заложена гипотеза о структурных ячейках, о которых храняется знание о мире, включающих фреймы, то есть стереотипные ситуации, которые складываются в конкретные сценарии. Конечно, результат исследования ученого не связан с использованием фреймового подхода в лингвистических исследованиях. В настоящее время в лингвистике обозначились три основные подхода к исследованию фрейма. То есть как лингвокультурологические, когнитивные и психолингвистические. В когнитивной науке одним из наиболее распространенных явлений является исследование фрейма в качестве относительно самостоятельной структуры для представления опыта и знания человека о типичной ситуации. В статье Эвада отмечалось, что фрейм представляет собой устойчивую структуру когнитивного характера, которая включает в себе структурные ячейки, содержащие конкретную информацию в себе. А в лингвокультурологии понятие фрейма исследуется вместе с категорией концепта, то есть как концепт. Фреймы представляют собой основу для определения концептов. Как правило, они образуются вокруг центрального ядра концепта, а в другом случае фрейма может полностью отождествляться с понятием концепта. Так, Жарина пишет, что фрейм — это тип концепта, который находится в тесной взаимосвязи с понятием семантического поля. А в психолингвистике рассматривается в качестве разновидности гештальтов, которые объединяют чувственно-образные и логические представления. Таким образом, рассматривая теорию фрейма, ознакомившись с различными точками зрения на данное явление, можно сформулировать определение, то есть соответствующие задачами нашего исследования. Фрейм — это модель культурно обусловленного, общеканонизированного знания, хранящая и структурирующая информацию о типизированных, теоретичных и тематических единых ситуациях. При этом следует учитывать, что фрейм свойствен категориальный способ организации знания. Каждый предмет, явление, понятие относится к какому-либо классу, внутри которого выстраивают определенные отношения. А для проведения сопоставительного исследования особенностей описания фреймотворец в китайском, английском и русском языках мы создали корпус текстов описания творцов. Алгоритмом для создания корпуса текста описания туристических объектов на русском, китайском и английском языках. И использовал следующие алгоритмы. Определение основных тематических направлений войск текстового материала по указанным темам и направлениям. Предварительная обработка текстового материала и анализ. Конвертирование и грамматический анализ. Разметка текстов. Корректировка результатов разметки. В процессе исследования был проведен сопоставительный анализ 51 текстов на русском языке, 59 текстов на китайском языке и 57 текстов на английском языке. На основе исследования структур текстов можно предположить, что количество абзацев текста описания туристических объектов соответствует обязательным слотам базового фрейма. В результате проведенного исследования были получены следующие выводы. Как в китайском языке описание китайских дворцов представлено более объемным текстом на китайском языке. Объем текста при описании всемирно известных дворцов на китайском языке выше, чем объем текста при описании русских дворцов, но ниже, чем при описании китайских дворцов на китайском языке. На английском языке описание китайских дворцов представлено более объемным текстом на английском языке, а объем текста при описании всемирно известных дворцов на английском языке выше, чем объем текста при описании русских дворцов, но ниже, чем при описании китайских дворцов на английском языке. Мы еще анализировали тексты на русском языке. Описание китайских дворцов представлено менее объемным текстом на русском языке. Объем текста при описании всемирно известных дворцов на русском языке выше, чем объем текста при описании русских дворцов и при описании китайских дворцов на русском языке. Сравнивая разметку частей корпуса текста на разных языках, следует отметить, что на английском языке подобные тексты не имеют существенных различий между размерами каждого отдельного текста, но в то же время, в частности, в части корпуса текстов на русском и китайском языках встречаются тексты, выбивающиеся в объем из общей структуры корпуса. Проведенные сравнительные исследования частотности абзацев в туристических текстах на китайском, английском и русском языке свидетельствуют, что в сопоставительных языках высокую частотность имеют тексты, состоящие из 4-6 абзацев. Далее в рамках сопоставительного анализа был проведен морфологический анализ корпуса текстов на русском, английском и китайском языке. Проведенное исследование позволило получить следующие выводы. Как в китайском языке, наиболее частотности словами при описании русских дворцов являются как Гонгдиан, Gençlerle, Климлингон, 教堂、彼得一世、莫斯科世纪博物馆、俄罗斯建造建。А при описании китайских дворцов, как Gençlerle, 故宫、皇帝、布达拉宫、太子殿、乾隆，位于长春、北京、琉璃。А при описании всемирно известных дворцов, как Gençlerle宫殿、城堡、皇家、女王、庭院、花园、国王、王宫、建造等等。Английский язык наиболее частотными словами при описании русских дворцов являются как Palace, Building, Peter, Room, Interior, Catherine, Grid, Architect, Inquiry, Castle. При описании китайских дворцов как Palace, Imperial, Hall, Dynasty, City, Imperial, Garden, Qing, Building, Summer. При описании всемирно известных дворцов как Palace, Resort, King, Room, Building, Build, Queen, Court, Country, Area. А русский язык наиболее частотными словами при описании русских творцов является как плод, творец, здание, архитектор, стиль, фасад, время, музей, век, зал. А при описании китайских творцов это дворец, император, год, китайский, город, династия, здание, находится в Китае, комплекс. А при описании всемирно известных дворцов, как дворец, год, королевский, зал, здание, Версале, резиденция, король, время и так далее. В процессе исследования было установлено, что при описании русских, китайских и всемирно известных творцов в корпусах текстов во всех сопоставимых языках наблюдается лексическое разнообразие, и только два слова используются во всех текстах, как дворец, то есть palace, кунден, здание, building,建筑. На основе исследования структуры текста можно предположить, что количество абзацев текста описания туристических объектов соответствует обязательным слотам базового фрейма. Проведенное сравнительное исследование частоты абзацев туристических текстов на китайском, английском и русском языке свидетельствует, что в сопоставимых языках высокую частоту имеют тексты, включающие 4, 5 или 6 абзацев. На основе полученной информации дальнейшие исследования при описании структуры фрейм дворецка для сопоставляемых языков в качестве наиболее оптимального количества слова была выбрана 6 слотов. Наиболее частотные слова в китайском, английском и русском языках касаются архитектуры дворцов, места их нахождения, время создания дворцов, описание основных качеств, признаков и свойств дворцов, а также перечисление известных личностей. Именно поэтому в качестве слотов структуры фрейма дворец предполагает следующее: как дворец, знание, архитектуры, место, время, описание признаков. Thank you.
You're done, Liang? You're finished?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Questions?
Thank you very much for your comparative definition of palace from different cultural contexts. Now we can take questions if there are any for Liang for his presentation. I think there are not any, so thank you, Liang, again. Now we will be continuing with effects of pandemic to human social economy from Yindao Zheng. Yindao Zheng.
Hello, Professor. I'm here.
Okay, I'm getting you to the spotlight, and if you have any slideshow, share. Screen is yours.
Okay, thank you. Can you see now?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Okay, Zheng, when you are ready, you can go. Yindao, are you having any technical problems? We can't hear you right now. Windows microphone. Yindao, if you are not available for the moment, we can go with someone else. In the meantime, you can get prepared and solve your technical problems maybe. Deng Hongli, would you like to take the stage if you are ready? You are muted. Can't hear you.
I'm trying to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to upload my, so there's a button over here, right? Open share tray.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to share my slides. I need some time. I think I might need some time to share it.
Okay, you can take your time. It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have
Thank you.
time. I'm getting you to the spotlight so you can be able to share your presentation.
Yep. Wait a sec. Specialized teammate. Just trying to upload another one. Open file. Stop sharing keypad. Close tray. Sorry, I didn't find the button for sharing the file.
Li Yang maybe can give you some advice if he is here. He was successful just a moment ago.
Oh, yeah. If he's he's online at the moment.
你是要分享你的 PPT 是不是？
对。
这个视频静音那个话筒右边有一个打开共享托盘，你点那个打开共享托盘，下面有一个屏幕共享桌面和窗口，你点一下桌面和窗口，会弹出一个框框，有整个屏幕窗口，你用窗口，你把你的 PPT 打开，你点那个 PPT OK 啊。
屏幕共享，整个屏幕共享。
那个打开相机那个看到了没有？
没看到。哦，我看到了。
有个静音，再往中间有个打开共享托盘。
Yeah, you got it.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, now we can see. Thank you, Liang.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Now you are good to go, Li.
Sorry, I dropped out. Hello, everyone. Is presenting. Can you see my screen now?
Everything looks just fine. I think you can start.
Okay, cool. So my topic is how Australia should influence U.S. policy from Trump administration and to Biden administration. I might just do a brief introduction about myself. So I'm from South China Business College, just like Li Yang, and yeah, this is part of my research. So without further ado, I just gonna start my research. So I'm doing this research according to the time frame, and I found out that during Obama administration, which is from 2009 to 2017, in Australia, there are in total 4 prime ministers changed. This is part of Australian election rules and also part of their politics. So it is very interesting to see. There is only one U.S. president, but at the same time, down under in Australia, we have been through 4 prime minister in Australia. So I did bilateral comparison between Australian prime minister and U.S. So and I found out that all these 4 prime minister like Kevin, Michael, Rod, he has a more commonly known Chinese name as Lu Kewen, because he studied Chinese as his major for a long time in Australia. He graduated from Australian National University. After that, he went to Taiwan to study Chinese again. So he knows China very well. And then later he becomes the ambassador to China, Australian ambassador to China, and later he got elected as a prime minister. During his administration in Australia, I think from my research, I found out that from the beginning, he made a lot of speech and to show his benign attitude to China. Like, for example, he went to Beijing University and said that Australia and China are like 真友. He said that 真友, which means like true friends whom go through a lot of hardships. But later he changed his position. He started to criticize China in a lot of issues like human rights issues and sort of things. But in terms of military, all these 4 Australian prime ministers, they are very anti-Chinese, anti-China based military. They all worked with US and they are strongly advocate and Australian and US based alliances. For their point of view, Australia can only be aligned with US to keep they call it Asia Pacific, to keep the Asia Pacific region peaceful, like long time peaceful. And for Julia Gillard, she changed a bit for her stance toward China, because for Kevin Rudd, he's even though he can speak fluent Mandarin, sometimes his stance and his tone is very assertive to China. But Julia Gillard, she softened her voices. She came to Beijing. She paid her twice visit to Beijing. She signed like a lot of business cooperation treaties with Chinese government during her rule. And also, I think Australia and Chinese business cooperation, like the deal, has been surged during her rule. So like the business between Australia and China is very, very good. Like during her rule from 2010 to 2013, a lot of Australian wines sold to China under very, very low tariff tax. Because Julia Gillard, she went to Beijing and she signed a lot of good treaties with China. So China and Australia at that time, they agreed to have a free trade. It's called FTX, free trade region agreement, something like that. Free trade region agreement. So a lot of Australian products can be sold to China within a very low tax. And then for Tony Abbott, under his administration, he become tougher again. Like in a lot of senses, he's very friendly to China. He also visited Beijing a couple of times. He talked about cooperation, and yeah, he met some high-level Chinese officials. But also, again, in military sense, he's also strengthened military cooperation with the United States. So starting from Julia Gillard, she started to advocate like a U.S.-Australia base in Darwin Harbor. So Darwin Harbor is located in the Northern Territory, on the north of Australia. So she advocated, and then Tony Abbott, he signed a treaty with the U.S. To allow a 25-year like a military stationed. So every year, USA can send, I think, at least hundreds of soldiers to Darwin Harbor, like to just station there as like a overseas military base. So until up to 2017, there were in total 2,500 American soldiers in Darwin Harbor, which is considered as a containment to contain China's fast growing. So and then last we move on to Turnbull, Michael Turnbull administration. He's openly criticized China a lot, like from a lot of we can see it from a lot of issues, like he's been criticized China's human rights issues, and also he has said China is bullying a lot of neighbor countries in the South China Sea region. So from this time period, we can see that Australia is trying very hard to economically cooperate with China, but at the same time, militarily they are like aligned with US to like defense with China. So my suggestions for Australia, like Australian policy to the US, because this one is Obama administration. So under Obama administration, he proposed strategy. It's called pivot to Asia. So which means coming back to Asia. Because like after Cold War, America has been focused on anti-terrorism. But then Obama found out that Asia Pacific area has been crucially important, and China is growing too fast without any presence of the U.S. military. So he decided to come back to Asia. And after that, from Trump administration, he was elected as because of the like populism in America. So he treated Donald Trump. He quitted a lot of international treaties, and it really confused Australia a lot, because Donald Trump, he's not a traditional leader. Like he broke a lot of rules. So Australia, at that time, Australia had a very hard time to predict what is USA's foreign policy. Because Donald Trump, frankly speaking, he doesn't have any political experience as a diplomat or any other rules in the higher government. He's just a businessman. So for Donald Trump, his diplomacy is very ambiguous, and sometimes you can call it chaos. So under this administration, my suggestion for Australia is because Donald Trump at the time, he really ruined like the international trade. He quitted a lot of free trade agreement between US and China, and it really caused a lot of damage to the international economy. So at that time, if Australia wanted to maintain its economic steady growth, my suggestion is to purchase US armament, like some Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II. Like this is a Raper. So this Raper is very good in the battlefield, and I think this can show the U.S. that Australia is still supported as a very important airline in the Asia Pacific. Also, my suggestion for Australia, the second point, the second strategy is to maintaining the interest rates of Australian dollars, because during Donald Trump era, the global economy is suffering, because he's not a pro trade person. He think international trade is damaging American workers' rights. So he's very popularist. He think that America first. We don't need to care about the other airlines or other countries. We need to go back to America. We need to care about our people first. So like Australia really need to maintain the dollars rates. In case forbid is like the inflation, because what in case of considering what America is doing, the inflation is happening very soon. And then the third proposal from me is I'm trying to, I think Australia, for their best, is to support Asia integration by engaging in a lot of like different kind of international organizations, such as RCEP, which stands for Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, and also Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, and also One Belt, One Road. Even though, as we all know, now Australia quit One Belt, One Road because of the federal government. They passed a bill restricting all the international cooperation within the state government. So even though Victorian government want to sign a treaty with Beijing, but then on the federal government level, they vetoed it. So it's not going to work. And the last but not least, like the two suggestions for me is to export more LNG and beef to China, so that Australia can still be economically partnered with China. So LNG stands for liquefied natural gas. This is a very bulk exports from Australia, and also beef. Beef is very important export products from Australia. And the last one is the Biden administration. So after Biden got reelected, the West has seen that everything come back to normal. Biden is a very traditional and conservative politician. So every American policies come back to normal. Unlike Donald Trump. Donald Trump sometimes he plays class didn't according to the rule, but like Biden is very conservative. It's very predictable. So for Biden, my suggestion for Australia is to enlarge a lot of free trade area with its airlines, considering Australia these days is suffering from Chinese sanction, because after the COVID-19, the outbreak of the pandemic, Australia is searching for international independent research in China, and after that, China did a economic sanction to Australia, including a lot of its exports products. So at this moment, it's very tough for Australia. But like for Australia, for its best benefit is to enlarge its free trade, especially with UK. Like recently, Australia signed a historical free trade agreement with UK. So they get rid of 99% of the tariff, including wines and what else, like milk products, like daily essential goods, tons of it. So it's very good for Australian economy. They need to find a substitute, because like Chinese market is kind of closed for them. So they need to find a substitute market. And the second solution is, my suggestion is to increase military cooperation with its airlines as usual, because this is after the Second World War, Australia has been keep doing is to strengthen its military cooperation with the United States, because Australia is a middle power nation. So it's all its insecurity comes from its size, and also it has a huge neighbor up above its head. It's China. Like it's very huge. Like no matter in terms of its population, its military power is like way bigger than Australia. So it feels very insecure after the Cold War. So Australia definitely all its insecurity comes from this, and the so-called geographical insecurity. So this is a term in international relations, geographical insecurity. So I think this is all the reason from Australia why it keep aligned with US, and it basically attend every war that after the Cold War, the US has searched for. So every war, if USA has attended, Australia definitely will join later. So and last one, I think Australia need to have a dialogue diplomacy with China, because like I think Australia sometimes they do things very straightforward and outspoken. This is not very Asian standard. Like for if you consider the Asian diplomacy, it really needs you really need a lot of patience, and also like runs of dialogues and runs of like negotiations to make a deal. So in terms of Asian politics, I think for Australia, they'd better understand Asia better, like use this kind of dialogues and negotiations more to like let China to sit down with them and talk. So I think this is all of my research. Yeah, thank you.
You're done, I believe.
Yep.
Thank you very much. That was a very clear picture of how trade and military cooperation can go in different ways between the same countries. That was very useful and systematic presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we can take questions from listeners if there are any. Any questions for Ding Hong Lee? Ahmet Hocam?
Can you hear me, Fatih Hocam?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, I liked Dang Lee's presentation also. It's quite related with our department's subjects. So Dang Lee, you here defend, or you want to say us, I think Australia must direct its own policies from America to China part, I think. Am I right?
Yeah.
They are usually their foreign policy or their cooperation generally is based on American policies and American ideas. But you want to say, I think, to us, they have to change their policies. They have to direct their policies to China part. Am I right? So
I think
they must. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to say that apart from working with the U.S., they can also make independent diplomacy in terms of China, because like all their diplomacies after the Cold War is all like similar to U.S. I think they can be independent sometimes. I think that's my point of view.
Yes, you mean that they were too much affected by American policies?
Yeah.
Then that's not good for their interest, their government interest. So they must be also regarding Chinese policies and Chinese maybe the foreign policy or other kinds of productive positions. Then if Australia changed their policies and they are regarding more Chinese policies than American policies, it will be good for American government, I think. Am I right? You want to say this as a result?
Yeah.
Okay, it's very good. Thank you very much for your presentation. Yes,
thank you.
But your title, American policy to USA under Obama, your title may be a bit changeable later, maybe.
Yeah. I can shorten it, I think.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
All right. I just want to say something about your presentation. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for your contribution. We should keep going because the time is limited.
Right.
Chen is among us right now, I believe, who will be talking about water protection. Chen, can you hear me?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you. If you're ready, you can take
hello.
the slide.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Fatih Hocam, I want to depart and to check another students.
Okay.
Can I depart? Okay.
You soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Chen, do you have any slideshow to share?
Yeah, wait.
Lee, could you please stop sharing your screen? Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. Wait a sec. I'm trying to find a button. Stop spotlighting. How can I turn off incoming video? How can I close the sharing?
Yes. Stop screen sharing. There needs to be a button
Okay, cool. I'm trying to
down the screen. There must be a button.
stop screen sharing. Okay, I'm trying to find it. Stop screen sharing. Couldn't find it. Maybe I just log out and log in again.
Yeah. You leave and come back. Don't forget to come.
正中间停止演示 ，OK。
啊，可以了吗？哎，但是我现在共享的是。Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen and we can hear you. If you are ready, you are good to go.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chen Qixing, and we did a research about the historical experience from the environmental management of the Rhine River in Germany for the protection of water environment in the Greater Bay Area. And the presentation consists of 4 parts. Firstly, is background and significance of the paper. To study and analyze efficient ways and methods which are applicable to the prevention and treatment of water pollution and the enhancement of the water environment in the Greater Bay Area by understanding and learning from the prevention and treatment methods and strategies of the Rhine River in Germany. And then based on the realities of the Greater Bay Area to cultivate awareness of environmental protection among the younger generations. The Greater Bay Area possesses rich resources such as oil, gas, underground fresh water, and the spatial distribution of modern industries needs to be optimized. Comprehensive studies have shown that there is great potential for the development and utilization of energy, such as oil and natural gas hydrate in the Greater Bay Area and surrounding sea area. Most of the oil and gas resources are in the Pearl River estuary basin, with a forecasted oil resource of 8 billion tons. Natural gas hydrate has a good prospect of development with 11 prospective areas. 19 mineralized areas have been circled and 2,100 billion cubic meters of deposits have been locked in. There are geothermal resources and hot spring in abundance, which have great potential for development and utilization. The experience of the Rhine River have been drawn on in favor of rational exploitation and development of the rich resources of the Greater Bay Area to maximize the conservation of resources for efficiency and the benefit of mankind. Secondly, research ideas and methods. By studying the ways and means of prevention and management of the Rhine River in Germany, the project has concluded the prevention and management measures which are suitable for the Greater Bay Area in China as follows. Investigate and analyze the current situation, history, and relevant environmental policies of the water environment in the Greater Bay Area to present the importance and necessity of this initiative. A historical analysis and overview of the Rhine River basin in Germany. Compare the similarities and differences between the two river basins. Argue and clarify the significance of the experience. While point out the difficulties in the research process and propose the measures for prevention and management in terms of the actual situation in the Greater Bay Area. And the third, research content and results. From 1817 to 1874, the Rhine underwent extensive channel straightening, diking, and channelization, which led to a shortening of the river, the receding of a large alluvial basin, and the beginning of the flooding. In 1986, a fire at the Sandoz Chemical Company warehouse near Basel, Switzerland, spilled pesticides into the Rhine River, forming a 70-kilometer-long band of micro-red pollution. Fish died in the section of the river through which the pollution zone flowed, and all the water supply and treatment plants along the river were shut down and replaced with cars to deliver water to the inhabitants. The progress of management in the Rhine. The first phase was the environmental protection system in Germany during the economic recovery period after World War II. The second phase was the rapid introduction of German environmental single line method from the 1970s to 1980s. The third phase is since the 1990s. The unclear division of labor and uncoordinated actions had caused many problems in environmental management with the increasing number of environmental single line methods and overlapping legal provision. The fourth phase is from the 21st century to the present. Germany has signed a series of agreements such as the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea and the Paris Climate Agreement. Specific measures for the treatment of the Rhine. Firstly, establish efficient cooperation mechanism between multiple countries in the basin. Establish a better monitoring and early warning system. Establish the concept of integrated systematic ecological restoration. Develop a high level of environmental awareness. Establish pollution prevention mechanisms. And current situation in the Greater Bay Area. In 2019, in Guangdong Province, the water quality of the 27 rivers entering the sea that have been inspected by the Chinese authorities was 66.7%. The water quality of several outfalls did not meet the standard. 8 reservoirs had a nutrient status of poor and moderate nutrients. The water quality of the province nearshore waters was generally good. The extent and distribution of urban flooding continued to grow with a total of 107 major urban flooding disasters occurring over a 5-year period. The Rhine River's management history has valuable experience for water protection in the Greater Bay Area. First, set up interbasin coordination mechanism. Second, improve integrated monitoring, early warning, and control system. Thirdly, establish an integrated system ecological restoration concept. Fourth, build a safe and reliable flood prevention and disaster reduction network. 5. Improve legislative systems and environmental protection education. 4. Summary and prospect of the paper. The concept of the Greater Bay Area is relatively new, and the project combines the students' expertise with the development plan of the Greater Bay Area. It is instructional to draw on the historical experience of the Rhine River in Germany for the protection and management of the water environment. On the one hand, it improves students' capabilities of scientific analysis and practical skills. On the other hand, it reinforced their awareness of environmental protection and the global perspective of a community of shared future for mankind. The project aimed to advocate not only economic development, but also sustainable growth through effective ways and means to protect the greenery, a precious resource that cannot be renewed. By drawing on the management and prevention strategies of the Rhine River in Germany, to achieve a harmonious and virtuous complementarity between the economic and the environment, thus leading to sustainable growth.
And are you finished?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your presentation. Water protection really has become an alarming issue worldwide lately. So it was a really relevant presentation. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any question for Chen? If there isn't, should continue. Wang Rong is here among us, who will be talking about cross-cultural communication among foreign students. Wang, are you hearing me? Wang?
Hello? Yeah, here. My name is Wang. Yeah, is it my turn now, or actually the other students should come first from Indo?
If you are ready, you can go.
I like to let Indo go first, and then I come.
Okay.
Because I have some problem with my laptop. Maybe I need to use the laptop of Mudan to speak, to give the presentation. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. No problem.
Yeah.
Mudan can talk about her presentation, educating children for environmental protection, right?
No.
Okay.
Mudan?
Okay.
Now? No, 把你先关上。I'll give the speech now. After someone.
You can go if you are ready and feeling comfortable.
Okay. I'm ready now.
Okay.
Sorry, wait a minute.
Mudan, can you hear me?
Okay.
You're muted right now. Yes. Now we can hear you.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, now I'll open my presentation.
Okay.
Sorry, it goes a little slowly. I don't know why.
It's okay, we have time.
Okay, so can you see my presentation now?
Yes, we can see your presentation and we can hear you. So if you are ready, you are good to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mudan. I came from Guangdong University of Foreign Studies, South China Business College, Research Institute of Sino-Europe Culture Exchange, and now I study in St. Petersburg State University. Today, I'm very glad to have this chance to report my thesis to you. And the title of my report is Cultivation of Empathy in Cross-Cultural Communication of Foreign Language Students. Cultivating students' cross-cultural communicative competence is one of the important goals of foreign language teaching today. To improve students' cross-cultural communication skills, it is important to improve students' ability of empathy. So today, here, we'll discuss how to cultivate empathy in cross-cultural communication among students in foreign language teaching. So first of all, I would like to talk about the importance of cross-cultural communication in foreign language teaching. As we all know, language and culture are inseparable. Edward Hall said that culture is communication and communication is culture. We know that the purpose of foreign language teaching is to have students develop communication skills, including language knowledge and cognitive skills. Cultural cognition in communication refers to specific communication rules and applied knowledge and the target language. So we know when people learn a language, they are also learning culture. In language learning, culture plays a very important role, and the use of language is restricted by its culture. Therefore, foreign language teaching must not train the basic skills of the language, but also strengthen the training and cultivation of students' cross-cultural awareness and cross-cultural competence. Although there are many common points and common values in human culture, the different geographical environment, historical development, and social reality of various countries have made various countries have formed cultural models with different connotations since ancient time. Therefore, communication misunderstandings are inevitable in cross-cultural communication. So the cultivation of empathy in cross-cultural communication is the key to the smooth realization of cross-cultural communication. So we think that it is necessary to understand the word of target language as deeply as possible. In other words, in addition to the meaning of words and grammatical rules, students also need to know when to speak outright, how, to whom, with whom, and where. And the current meaning, concept, how the sought object exists in the reality of the language being learned. So now, let's look at the empathy in cross-cultural communication. So what is empathy? Empathy in cross-cultural communication refers to trying to understand the problem of cultural differences from within and to find the necessary ways and means of mutual understanding. We think that there are three main forms of empathy. The first form is emotional empathy. It means that experience of empathy is sharing emotions with another person, generating emotional resonance to other person's feeling. It helps perceive situations that may cause conflicts in advance. And the second form is cognitive empathy. It is the cognitive awareness and understanding of another person's emotions and feelings, and the ability of a subject to understand another person's inner experience intellectually. And the last form is behavioral empathy. This form of empathy is a powerful factor that regulates a person's social behavior. This kind of empathy is considered to be the highest form and final stage of empathy. And now, let's look at empathy. Let's look at the functions of empathy. Empathy is a determinant of behavior. It's specific and emotional form of cognition, and is altruistic. Besides, it's a condition of a close contact and true dialogue and communication between people. So, why empathy plays so important role in cross-cultural communication? We think that there are two reasons. Firstly, empathy can not only allow people to accept the existence of another pictures of world, but also to penetrate this picture and understand it, including on the emotional level, to feel another reality, another existence based on the coordinates of the communication partner. Only through empathy is it possible to produce tolerance. This allows people to establish true dialogue and communication in a cross-cultural space full of differences. And secondly, empathy allows one to understand the interlocutor without words, which becomes especially valuable when there is a language barrier between communication partners. Empathy can make people pay attention to the context of the situation, pay attention to the nonverbal expression of the interlocutor's emotions, and reflect on his own experience as a result of the interaction. So we can say that empathy is the most important foundation in cross-cultural communication, allowing completely different people to understand and accept each other. And now, let's look at the cultivation plan of empathy in cross-cultural communication in foreign language teaching. Foreign language educators should make better use of that platform of foreign language teaching to help learners acquire empathy in cross-cultural communication in the process of learning and using language. The training requirements for empathy in cross-cultural communication are as follows. For example, listen carefully to the interlocutor. Try to understand the feelings of others. Be sincerely interested in words and deeds of others. Show empathy for needs and interests of others. Possess and develop the ability to understand the opinions of others. We think that empathy training should start from following aspects. The first aspect is change the teaching mode. It's necessary to help students combine language learning and cultural learning in the process of language learning and give them equal status. The cultivation of students' cross-cultural communication ability is based on the learning of culture. Only by fully understanding the native culture and target language culture can empathy in cross-cultural communication be realized. And the second aspect is to improve cultural sensitivity. In the process of communication, the subject often subconsciously uses the self-culture mode to understand the culture of the communicative object. So which can easily lead to different interpretations of the same information. And the last aspect is to master the principle of moderation. Of course, empathy should be moderate. Too low or too high empathy levels are not conducive to the cultivation of cross-cultural communicative competence. So to this end, here we can summarize some special methods for cultivating students' empathy in cross-cultural communication. Provide foreign cultural background in the process of teaching foreign languages. Organize practical activities to enable students to interact with representatives of other cultures and the real conditions of cross-cultural communication, and create conditions for students' self-reflection and invite students to share the cross-cultural communication experiences. Create conditions for the development of students' observation skills and cultivate students' cross-cultural sensitivity. And the last one is to provide external help. It means to help students have a correct understanding of their own personality characteristics and cultural characteristics of their own nation, and overcome cultural prejudices and stereotypes. And now we can make the conclusion that cross-cultural communicative competence has become an indispensable content of foreign language teaching. At the core content of cross-cultural communication, empathy can maximize the emotional factors in people's cross-cultural communication, help people overcome obstacles encountered in cross-cultural communication, and achieve mutual understanding and tolerance. To cultivate students' cross-cultural ability of empathy in foreign language teaching, it is necessary to understand the characteristics of empathy, start from all aspects of foreign language teaching, and use specific and effective methods to help students empathize smoothly and appropriately in cross-cultural communication. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you very much for your interesting and helpful presentation. It's a globalized world, and interaction is every day and everywhere. So it's a very relevant and helpful presentation, because you showed us how people can overcome the different perceptions of different things caused by cultural differentiation, which is the empathy, the role of empathy in lowering the problems that could cause by the different cultural settings. Thank you very much. Is there any question for Dan?
A-2, I want to speak and ask something.
Okay, please.
Dammu, as a foreign teacher, previous foreign teacher, I can ask maybe some questions. So according to you, yes, empathy is very important to learn second language, I think. Also, I think you want to say to know and to learn the culture of another countries is also effective to learn very well this language, I think. Am I right? If, as a foreign language learner, if we know the culture of another countries, can we learn this language very well, very easily, you mean, with empathy?
Then,
can you hear me? Can you hear me then?
Then you are
Yes,
muted.
yes, I can hear
Okay.
you.
So I think here you want to emphasize and you want to say us to learn a second language perfectly. Firstly, we have to know, we have to learn the culture of the other country is necessary, I think. You want to say this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, for example, Chinese language, for Turkish people to learn Chinese language, firstly, we have to know your culture very well, and then maybe when we are communicate each other, we can understand each other very well, I think. Am I right?
Yes, I think so. Of course, I think learning culture, yes, it should. Um, so in the process of learning languages, it's also important to learning culture, of course. But I think in language learning, of course, language is the most important. But I want to say that culture it should we should also put the culture on the second place. Yeah, it's also very important.
So,
And
what is the best way of this? I think we have to live for some time in a country, and then we have to learn their culture. Then the language, learning this language is easy for us, I think, for foreign learners. Am I right? Without, for example, without living in China, how can I learn your culture, and how can I know some modes of usage of language in your country? So living in a foreign country, firstly, to learn this language is necessary, I mean. Am I right?
yes, yes,
Because culture, according to the culture, we can learn the best way of usage of this language. Okay. I think, all right. With empathy, you want to say this, I think.
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your question.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Are there any questions? No? Thank you again, Dan, for your presentation. Now we have last one, which is about educating children for environmental protection. Rong Wang, are you here, hearing me?
Arzulayın bari namazı ya. Rum geldi.
Rong Wang?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. Sorry, I just yeah. Okay, get it. All right. Let me open my presentation now.
Okay.
Moment.
Stories, we have time.
Yeah, thank you. Moment. I'm sorry. 找不到了，我找不到，在哪里？我刚给你的那个，在哪里？ Hello?
Okay.
Hello, can you see me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
see you.
thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Share screen.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, it takes a little bit time. Yeah, because we are not very familiar with this Microsoft Teams. So I beg your pardon. and
It's okay.
Yeah,
We have time. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here and like to present my topic and share my information and ideas with you guys. And my topic is about the youth environmental education in Nordic countries. And my paper collects and organizes important documents related to environmental education for children and teenagers in Nordic countries through the literature research comparison method and comprehensive method, which provides theoretical supports, experience models, and the research approach from the study basement in order to prevent global warming and promote environmental protection and low carbon lifestyles vigorously. With reference to the models and the approach, Nordic countries rank among the world's top in environmental concepts, policies, measures, and technologies, and have developed very successful models for other countries to learn from. Especially youth environmental education has become the top priority of all environmental protection work. Only through the series of this subtle education, all of social members could develop good habits for environmental protection and deep conscious of low carbon behaviors from childhood, which enables them to achieve fundamental consideration, tacit understanding, and consensus on the issues of environmental protection. The Global Alliance for People and Earth Energy, GEAPP, was launched at the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26 in short, in Glasgow, Britain, on 31st October 2021, to accelerate global developing and emerging country economies' investment in green energy transition and renewable energy solutions. The world is undergoing economic upheaval, and the poor are becoming more backward, suffering the impact of climate change and the corona pandemic. Realizing the green energy transition through renewable electrification is an important way to stop both crises while restarting economic progress. If people develop the economy vigorously and at the same time carry out production and live in accordance with the concept of ecological civilization, they can realize the unity of nature and the human within the scope of the environment, protect the green mountains and clear waters, and improve the level of people's livelihood. To curb global warming and prevent environmental degradation is not only the responsibility of environmentalists and the governments of various countries, but also mainly depends on the environmental awareness and the behaviors of every citizen. Primary and secondary schools are the first instructors for children and teenagers to contact society and establish awareness of environmental protection during the growth process. They play an extremely important role in the innovative research and practical application of environmental education. Environmental education takes the relationship between mankind and the environment at the core, aims to solve environmental problems and achieve sustainable development, and aims to improve people's environmental awareness and the effective participation ability, popularize environmental protection knowledge and skills, and cultivate environmental protection talents. Environmental education is divided into two aspects: general environmental protection and professional environmental education. General environmental education is to help people gain basic knowledge about the environment and the environmental issues, to stimulate people's enthusiasm for caring about the environment, and to enhance the sense of responsibility and urgency in solving environmental problems. Professional environmental education is to train professionals with the ability to analyze the environment and solve environmental problems. Environmental education, from the object point of view, is education for all, with the characteristics of universality, because the quality of the environment is closely related to everyone's working and living. Environmental education, from the perspective of time, is lifelong education, with lifelong characteristics. The lifelong nature of environmental education determines that it should be education from the cradle to the grave, and it should permeate all stages of life: children, adolescents, middle-aged people, and old people. Environmental issues are a global issue that affects each other. The increase in carbon dioxide emissions, whether from North America, Europe, or Asia, the greenhouse effect that accumulates around the Earth, will affect the entire planet, although these environmental problems occur in a certain country or region. Their catastrophic consequences will be global inevitably. Environmental education, from the content point of view, is a comprehensive education carried out by various disciplines with inter-academic characteristics. The inter-academic characteristics of environmental education are determined by the extensive and comprehensive characteristics of environmental issues. The solution of environmental problems must rely on multidisciplinary cooperation. Next is about, I'm sorry, just forget to turn this page on. We have the concept of green school. Green school means that on the basis of realizing its basic educational functions, the school will be guided by the theory of sustainable development, incorporate the ideas of sustainable development into the management in all-round daily work, and develop effective environmental management systems by formulating environmental management systems. It could strengthen cooperation and contact between schools and the communities, and to develop basic knowledges, skills, attitudes, emotions, values, and ethical behaviors for sustainable development in the process of practical participation. And as I said at the beginning, Nordic countries have been at the forefront of the times in the environmental protection and have become pioneers and models for the world, and good examples of learning for all countries. Environmental education had become an important issue that the governments of the Nordic countries are pushing forward, carrying out relevant legislation and spending great efforts on environmental governance and publicity activity. In addition to environmental concepts, its education has been rooted in the hearts of the people deeply, so that Nordic countries are also far ahead in environmental protection technology. The development of its environmentalism has spawned a new industry, ecological industry, which is leading the world to create new economic growth points, environmental friendly and low carbon production and life. And this is the Nordic models. And in a summary, I'd like to give a short briefing country from country to country. Firstly is Finland, phenomenal teaching. Finns' environmental awareness has always been very advanced, and the government there has also formulated a comprehensive environmental protection policy. As a world-renowned environmental protection country and on education power, Finland combines the two advantages to create a set of sustainable youth environmental education concepts and series of environmental protection teaching methods in primary and secondary schools, starting with the use environmental education courses in classrooms. All schools in Finland offer environmental education courses, and teachers from specialized environmental protection agencies organize related activities inside and outside the classroom. The environmental curriculum of Finnish primary and secondary schools is a vivid embodiment of Finland's unique phenomena teaching. The theme of the curriculum revolves around the various phenomena closely that students can encounter in daily life and learning, designs life-oriented and contextualized tasks, get through subject knowledge, combining with experiential cooperative learning, and cultivates students' comprehensive abilities. And second one is Sweden. The Swedish government regards the realization of sustainable social, economic, and environmental development as its major strategic goal, and school education is regarded as an important way to achieve this goal. Education for sustainable development has become the direction and the goal of environmental education in Sweden, and has a profound impact on school management and teaching. The Swedish Education Act, revised in 1985, stated that school activities should be consistent with basic democratic values in the value target, and school staff should encourage students to respect their own values and respect for the shared human environment. Curriculum for the school system in the non-compulsory education stage proposes that in the learning process, students should acquire a foundation for lifelong learning, understand the complexity of environmental issues, and learn to choose the right way of living and working according to the development of new technologies. Environmental education must enable students to have a certain degree of insight, avoid negative impacts on the environment in life, establish a correct environmental standpoint, and promote the sustainable development goals of the global society. And third one is Norway. Norwegian life is like the Nordic style in the concept of the word, concise, elegant, and full of lifestyle. This simple, close to nature's lifestyle provides Norwegians with a relaxed atmosphere, allowing them time and the space to think independently and to choose the way they like to live. Economic growth is no longer the main issue there. On the contrary, the Norwegian parliament pointed out in the environmental policy for sustainable development that the growth of consumption, especially energy consumption growth, must be controlled. The Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Environment have cooperated closely to add a considerable part of environmental protection content to the curriculum of primary and secondary schools. The popularization of garbage sorting starts with children. As a result, Norwegians know when and how to throw out garbage since when they were very young. Even after various large-scale school activities or group campaign or traveling, there was no garbage found on the scene and route normally. Norwegian education conveys very little theoretical knowledge. They encourage exploration and cultivating creativity in games. Education in Norway is mainly to develop some important skills and prepare people for living. Norwegians advocate a natural way of living, which is embodied as environmental protection in kindergartens and the schools. Education in the environment, education about the environment, and education for the environment. The fourth one is Denmark. The Danish green development model with the goal of zero carbon has become the most successful laboratory in the world to explore energy supply and safety, providing good examples and optimized approach as long as human beings choose the right development path. Denmark first proposed the creation of an ecological green school in 1991, which immediately affected Europe and other countries. Green Denmark has long established the concept of liking nature, loving nature, and enjoying nature. In the hearts of children, students, and teachers who have made outstanding contributions to environmental protection can get the honor of Green Passport. The Ecological Green School Award Program is a new approach and method for schools to implement sustainable development education. Its purpose is to make sustainable development education run through the overall working methods of the school by the establishment of a green school. At the same time, the school takes environmental issues as a foundation and regards the local environment as a workshop, where teachers and students as well as local communities solve practical problems in ecological and environmental protection creatively. The last one is Iceland. Iceland has been rated as the most livable country by the United Nations for many years. Their goal is to get rid of dependence on fossil fuels completely and realize a hydrogen energy society in 50 years by achieving zero carbon dioxide emissions. The school's environmental education curriculum provides students with environmental protection methods and tools, explaining how to construct and create a variety of environmentally friendly products. The development of this education is a sense of creative self-efficacy. Environmental education for Icelanders is more human and can stimulate the human potential of environmental protection actions. There are not too many tests, but a game that focuses on imagination, entertaining like learning by doing and doing by learning. My last part at all is conclusion. Well, primary and secondary schools should provide children and teenagers with opportunities to get close to nature, understand nature and protect nature, as well as establish a determination to be responsible for the sustainable development of the surrounding environment from an early age. Help children establish a global view of the environment and emphasize the importance of teaching, which reflects the social environmental protection and low carbon production and operation model, as well as people's living consumption model. Through the establishment of a green school and the practice of green classrooms, the ecological construction of the campus environment and the sustainable development education plans, students' environmental awareness, attitudes, and values could be cultivated. The concept and the knowledge of sustainable development of the environment should be incorporated into the teaching of teachers to actively carry out the theme practice activity of environmental education, so that teachers and students can discuss about related environmental protection topics together. It is necessary to lay a solid foundation for lifelong environmental education for children and teenagers in primary and secondary schools, who should understand the complexity and the severity of environmental issues and learn to choose conducive choices based on the development of new technologies. That's it. Thank you very much for your time and listening.
Thank you, Wayne. It's really an important and alarming issue, as was water protection presentation, but it's not enough that it is kind of unique to Nordic countries, teaching students how to get into relationship with the environment. It should be more widespread, and it should get into curriculars in education in almost all countries. Thank you very much. So it is kind of unique to Nordic countries. So no surprise that Greta Thunberg came from a Nordic country.
Yes, no wonder she's from there. You're absolutely right, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any question for Wang? Ahmed Hocam has a question, but he is muted. Can you hear us, Hocam?
Now you can hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
When I open camera, my voice is closed. Hello, Ronk. Hello, Ronk.
Hello, Mr. Professor Ucha. Hello.
Okay, thank you. thank you for your good presentation. It is quite important for all the human being, as you know. What you just said, it is a very good issue, an important issue for all of us in the world. But here you say that, yes, Nordic countries succeeded a good job, I think, about this issue. So how do they succeed this? Only by education in primary and secondary school, or by other? If there are any other methods, can I learn from you in your study? I mean.
Well,
yes,
I think
I understand. Yes, education in primary school and secondary school is quite important to be conscious about protecting environment. It's important. It's good. But is there any other method in these countries? I mean, to succeed a good job like this about environment, protection of environment.
Yeah, I think yeah, the Nordic countries have advantages because I think they have more sensitivities to experience than us, because they are much near to polar regions, and so if the snow, the icebergs melting, they can feel more faster than us. So
this is the advantage for them.
The geological advantage brings them this consciousness and the thinkings about the nature, first of all. And secondly, I think those countries are not big compared to China, compared to Turkey. They are small countries. So they must take more care of them. They must bring their voices more to the world.
Advantage. Good.
Yes. And I think, of course, as the moderator said before, that girl from Sweden is complaining about the world because she is from Sweden, and Sweden is a very rich country, and she doesn't have to worry about her living. But at the same time, it's impossible. It's very, very difficult for many children in Africa, in Middle East, in some countries still with wars. So I think it's not that fair to ask everyone to think and to behave like Nordic country people do, because the problem, the reason for this unfairness has been a very long time, and not just from yesterday to today. Yeah. So economic growth and more dialogues and communication are very, very important for all of us.
Yes. Okay, you are right. And I think another factor, maybe the education system is good for children and for their country. And also they started to educate the students earlier than the other countries, maybe.
Yes.
So they started to do this 20 years ago. Nowadays, for example, China, Turkey, or some other countries
a little bit backward.
Aware of this, but we are late. I mean, we are late. I think.
Yes. We're big countries compared to them, so we have more things to worry about than just like them to worry about nature. So it's unfair for them to ask more or ask the same from us like they do, because we're different. They must understand it's different situations are different from country to country. Yeah, we're doing our best. China is also on this way. China is also trying its best to protect the environment with every country around the world hand in hand.
Okay. Thank you. Turkey also is nowadays has changed some policy in protecting environment and reducing the carbon emission because as moderator also knows this, and we in our ministry we had there was a ministry, and this ministry was about responsible for environment. At the same time, there are some new additional duties are given to that ministry for climate change. Okay, so in our country also there are some new struggles to keep to protect the environment and to
Yes,
reduce
and,
the
yeah,
carbon emission.
That's true. And
Okay.
as far as I know, as I experienced before, when we go to McDonald's in China, we can get plastic bags and straws when we drink Coke and so on. But today, just like in the last week, I went to McDonald's again, and I couldn't find straws anymore. They don't supply straws anymore. They don't want to give us too many things in plastic. So Chinese people go shopping, but with their own bags, not without getting
Yes.
plastic bags from the supermarkets.
This is also important. Good. In
Yeah,
Turkey
yeah.
also, yes, the bags in shopping centers are given with money. So most people try to use little bags again, according to the zero environment policy. Okay. Yeah, so yes, these are good developments. I mean, these are good developments either in China, either in Turkey, or in other countries. But we have to reach the level of the Nordic countries in a short time. I mean, this is
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Hey, thank you, Ahmet Hocam, for your contribution.
Okay.
All the presenters presented their papers. I should say that it was a really enjoying and helpful session because all the papers were well researched and informative. I thank you all separately. It was really fun and informative to share this time with you. Thank you very much. Your participation certificates will be sent to you. We thank you a lot and we wait you to come back next year. We will be doing the same organization again. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your inviting.
We are done. If you don't have any question about anything, I am finishing the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Goodbye.
See you next year.
Bye. See ya.
Bye. See you.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.